So guys, yeah, as you can see by these boxes and my EOS R right here, I'm gonna put my coffee way over here because knowing my luck, I will spill it and ruin everything. But I'm filming on the Sony a7R III, which is so hard for me to say because I'm so used to seeing Canon blah, blah, blah. So I bought the Canon EOS R. I made videos on why I bought it over cameras like the a7 III. So why did I buy the a7R III? Why don't I use this? Well, first of all, just like the flexibility of this Sony is amazing. So first of all, you can shoot in 4K on the full frame, which I didn't think I would care about. But after vlogging on the EOS R in 4K and seeing that 1.7 crop, and then changing to 1080p to see what a full frame view would look like, was outstanding. I loved it. So it just had me think. So right now we're shooting in full frame, but the Sony also has a like Super 35 mode, which in theory should make the quality better. So we're gonna change to that right now. Okay, so this is APS-C like Super 35 mode, and I'm shooting with my 24-70 G Master lens, so this lens, with the Sony a7R III. So, I mean, I think this is a good look for most of my shooting. Apparently it's supposed to be better quality, so when I have a tripod, I'll probably shoot with this. And then if I want a wider view, or if I want to vlog, I'll do the full frame mode. So it's all about like flexibility, and I like that this Sony camera has the flexibility to do both. Because when I was looking at the Canon A7, the Canon EOS R, like I didn't think I needed, or I cared about the crop. But once I started vlogging like handheld like this, and you see how close it is, it's totally unusable. And yeah, like you can technically pack a vlogging camera, but when the Sony is pretty lightweight, like it's a pretty small camera, I want to be able to do, you know, everything with one body, and I can do that with the Sony as far as vlogging. Now, another reason why I'm getting rid of the Canon EOS R. So if you saw my last video, which was basically like a 30-minute vlog where I took this thing around all day and vlogged with it. And the thing is, like, so this is getting me back to my point. When I vlogged with this thing, I vlogged in 1080p because I liked the wider full framed view. And at the end of the vlog, I said, you know, I kind of am disappointed it's not 4K. I mean, yeah, I kind of made an excuse that who wants to vlog in 4K because it's a lot of footage to work with, it's slow to upload and edit, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, like, why wouldn't you want the ability to do it? It's all about being able to do different things, and the sun is like beating in my face right now. Okay, so what was I talking about? Just flexibility. So I kind of just made excuses for the Canon, like the crop. I said, well, I don't care about the crop. The 1080p 120 frames per second, I said I didn't care about that because I didn't use it. But the thing is, maybe I'll start using it if I can have it. So it's just the flexibility of having the features that you want, but also the features that you don't need all the time, but could appreciate them eventually. So yeah, it's a lot. And I kind of am going back to thinking of the days when I first started this YouTube channel, like in 2000, well, I started this channel in 2006 and I uploaded videos randomly, but then 2013 is where I kind of started uploading like more tech-based videos. I finally found like my tech identity, and I knew that's what I wanted to do with this channel. And I started off with Nikon. I don't know why, for some reason in my head, I thought that Nikon was better than Canon. I just saw it as better quality. I don't really know. And with the Nikon camera, the autofocus was so terribly bad. Like, if I was right here with autofocus, it would just hunt constantly for no reason. Like, you would move a micrometer back. What, a micrometer? I don't know what type of measurement I just came up with, but if you moved it all, like, you would hear it. So I dropped the Nikon in a bathtub by accident and killed it. And I used that opportunity to look into Canon. And that's when I got the Canon 80D at the end of 2016, which by then it was already been out for a few months. And it was very similar to the 70D, which was already out for a long time. By that point in 2016, a lot of people were already going towards Sony and stuff. So I was kind of not in the minority, or not in the majority, by getting Canon. So then I used the 80D for a while, and you know, a year or so passes, and of course, like us tech nerds think, you know, we want to upgrade. You know, the 80D, the biggest thing was lack of 4K, and I said, well, I'm just going to wait for a 90D. I'm just going to wait for, like, I don't know what I was waiting for. So then the EOS R came out, and I was like, great, this is a good Canon 4K camera. When in reality, it really wasn't a good Canon 4K camera. It was a Canon 4K camera with a flip-out screen, because there's not really many Canon 4K cameras with a flip-out screen. So there's the M50, and then there's like the 5D Mark IV, but that doesn't have a flip-out screen. There's the 1DX Mark II, that doesn't have a flip-out screen, and then also that camera is ridiculously expensive for people that just want to shoot video. I don't know. It seems like I can never make up my mind, and it seems like for whatever reason, if I decide on a product more so like on like tried and true like specs on paper, I was really just expecting the Canon to like blow people away like off paper. So just because there's a crop, just because, you know, it only does 4K at 30 frames per second, and it also only does 60 frame or 120 frames at 720p, I was just expecting like the Canon camera to blow away the other cameras. It had the higher bit rate, so it had like 480 megabits per second compared to the Sony. But honestly, like looking at this Sony playback, like 100 megabits per second, it looks pretty good to me. I don't know, while we're talking, let's adjust the camera. So we're at 24 millimeters right now. Let's change it to 50, just to see. Okay guys, so this is 50 millimeters on the 24-70. So I had to move the camera farther away, and I zoomed in, but it still should be, have a really good depth of field. Like, as you go from 24 to 70, the higher you go, the more depth of field. And also keep in mind, we're filming on the Super 35 sensor. A big thing about the Canon EOS R is the flip out screen. Like, that was my like crutch. That's why I wanted to stick with Canon. It has the flip out screen. I can't get anything else. Honestly, having that mindset really just handicapped my thinking. Like, it made me very unopen-minded, whereas like not having a flip out screen isn't that big a deal. Like, yes, it's handy, and yes, you could probably catch some mistakes, but for the most part, it's doable. Like right now, I can't see myself at all, but I'm using the app. I mean, well, see, the problem is when I'm showing you this, I can't see. It's just going on to infinity, but I can see myself through the app. So it doesn't show all the information, but it is helpful. And the fact that I can have like my phone on me is pretty nifty, because I could go, like, let me make this wide, and I can see that I'm on camera. Now, the quality isn't amazing, so I honestly don't know if I'm in focus or not, because I can't see the face tracking, but I can keep an eye on the settings. I know like the shutter speed, what's going on with that. I can see the ISO. So yeah, not having a flip out screen may benefit me more, because I'm more versatile with the app. Now that being said, this app is a little annoying to get it connected every time. Let's change it to 70 millimeters. So guys, this is 70 millimeters that I'm shooting at, so I'm really far away from the camera. But the depth of field on it should technically be pretty insane, even though I'm not. So yeah, just so you can get an idea of all the different focal lengths, we're at 70. Just for the heck of it though, let's change it to back to the full frame and still at 70 so you can get an idea. So guys, this is the same focal length. This is 70 millimeters, but we're shooting at the full frame, so it's wider. So you can see like how much wider it is. Like I can probably sit on, yeah, I can sit on this table and still be in frame completely. Whereas with the Super 35 mode, my head would have been cut off. I'm very curious to see what I look like in 4K because like I said, this is not the best quality through the smartphone app. Like I kind of wish Sony would update this app because I remember using this freaking app like years ago. I'd like to see some better features going on. So now guys, now that we're back in full frame, let's take a look at like the handheld ability of this camera. Okay guys, so this is filming at, we're in aperture priority mode basically. So we're at 2.5, I don't know where that number came from. We're at 2.8 f-stop. Everything else is just kind of like in auto, so the shutter speed will adjust itself. The ISO will adjust itself. So the sun's kind of setting, so I would anticipate the shutter speed should be getting close to 1/60th of a second, which is what we want. And ISO should maybe be going up slowly. But let me know what, how this looks. This is handheld. We're using the 24-70 f2.8 G Master, which this doesn't have stabilization built in. So all the stabilization you see is the internal stabilization of the camera, which the Sony or the Canon EOS R did not have that. So I did have the 24, the 105, that was the f4, and that was stabilized. But my other Canon, the 24-70 f2.8, was not stabilized. So if I use this handheld like this, it would be so shaky, it would be unusable. So the fact that I can have stabilization really on any lens is amazing. And just side note, vlogging with this setup, this 24-70 G Master, it was like I felt my arm burning. Like I will have guns if I vlog with this. Like at 24 millimeters, is this recording? I had to check because I don't have the flip out screen. But at 24 millimeters, like this is pretty wide. But I feel like I could get away with some type of just like wide prime lens to vlog with. Something that's a little bit not as heavy. But the reason I got the 24-70 is because that's kind of the focal length I've used for the longest time with the 80D. It's just like one really good lens. And also that way I don't feel trapped in an ecosystem. So the 24-70 is great. And then also maybe we'll get like the 16-35. That will also be great. Oh my God, guys, my guns, I feel them like bursting out of my arm as we speak. So yeah, the 16-35 and the 24-70, those are all really good focal ranges. And then, like I said, maybe I'll get like a smaller prime to vlog with. I don't know. It's heavy, but I mean, I don't do super long vlogs either. And I typically don't really vlog, but I want the ability to. So I think this camera will help. And what I want to do, guys, is just show you what Super 35 mode looks like with vlogging. So like I said, Super 35 will increase the quality, but you're zoomed in. Okay, guys, so this is the Super 35 mode at vlogging. This is 24 millimeters. You can see it's a lot wider, or a lot less wide, so like I'm very close. I typically wouldn't vlog like this because it is so close. You can't really see what I'm doing or where I'm at. So this is what I had to deal with the Canon EOS R. If I wanted to vlog in 4K, it was even closer than this. So this is 1.5 crop, the EOS R was 1.7. So it was like this vlogging. And a lot of people said, you know, just get a wider lens, get the 10-18. But the fact that I have the Canon EOS R, a full frame camera, and people are telling me to get the 10-18 lens, which is like a $300 lens, that's not gonna be good for the image quality. Like, it's like putting a full frame lens on an APS-C body. So I was putting in the 24-70 on the 80D, and I really wasn't taking a full advantage of it. So it's kind of like the opposite. If you put a crop sensor lens on a full frame body, it's gonna be the same thing. You're going to lose quality. Okay guys, so I'm back in full frame mode. Hopefully everything is looking good. My camera's at like 6% battery after filming all of this. Keep in mind, I didn't really charge it much. I was at like 30%. So battery life, from what I can see, is pretty good. So I'm gonna work on getting this edited and put up. And I will say what I think about this camera right here, because I haven't seen any of the footage yet, really. And so yeah, I'm really returning the EOS R. So say goodbye to the Canon EOS R. It's disappearing for good.